Today I want to talk about something that could have huge potential for World of Warcraft. Public events. Events like the Soup, Fire Act Assaults, Time Rifts, and Dream Surges have been Blizzard's way of dipping their toes into this idea with Dragonflight. But if they were to take this concept to the next level, it could change the way people interact with the game itself. MMOs are all about being part of a living, breathing online world, and these events are simply a good way to bring people together. This is a big opportunity to have people congregate not just in the major capitals like Valdrakken, but throughout all of Azeroth. In 10.2, for example, we're going to the Emerald Dream. Some of our players have fantasized about going since the origin of WoW, but after a few months, will there ever be any reason to go back to it? It's a little depressing to think that in each major patch, most of these beautiful handcrafted zones become obsolete. And the same thing can be said about any previous expansion content as well. What's the point of going to Outland, Northrend, the Broken Isles, or even the Eastern Kingdoms or Kalimdor outside of the odd transmog piece or achievement? The biggest WoW has ever been was in the original game, but there's so much more space than even just that to make use of. Public events could be a way to bridge this gap and make the world feel grand again. But what Blizzard would need to do is first convince players that these places are worth going back to. So how can Blizzard get players to be interested in this? The first and most obvious way is to just give players what they want: progression. This means high item level gear, not more renown and not more cosmetics. Useful and relevant gear. World bosses are so popular at the beginning of each expansion because they give you a chance at a great item. Now, I think the new philosophy of allowing an average player to get competitive gear is a great change with the Crest system, but this approach could also be a new way to incentivize this new content type. If you allow all public events, no matter what zone you do them in, to contribute toward a public event reward track, it would make it so the events were actually worth checking out. The second way to get player buy-in would be to have these activities feel meaningful. One thing Guild Wars 2 does very well with their meta events is that they are, in many cases, a map-wide endeavor. If Blizzard made it so the whole zone, or at least just the central part of the map, changed and evolved, it would give players a sense of scope, and something they couldn't pawn off as just another world quest. The multi-phase 10.2 public event looks like a step in the right direction, and I thought the Time Rifts were a really cool lore tie-in for some what-if situations. But these events need some spectacle, some reason to get excited about spending time on it. The third way to get player buy-in would be to have these events have some kind of participation tracking. I'm not talking about anything crazy here. I do not want to see parses for this, but nobody likes people AFK in their events. Maybe have the events require a DPS check, or give them the ability to actually fail. This is more of a wishlist item, but one of the criticisms I see about retail WoW is that the world's content doesn't really have any difficulty. By giving these events the ability to fail, it adds some stakes to incentivize players to actually participate. Taking a step back here, the reason this kind of content works for Guild Wars is because of the horizontal approach they take. I'm not saying WoW should fundamentally change from a vertical standpoint, the game has always been like that, but there's gotta be a happy medium that allows the new content to stay relevant for more than a month or two. Blizzard has shown us that they can make level scaling work, and this could be a way to bring forward old content while still allowing for new additions. If you consider how PvP works, we've had the same battlegrounds and arenas for years now, with hardly any changes, but every expansion they offer similar rewards and players are constantly going back to them. I think it's time that PvE got something similar that would help Blizzard put the world back into Warcraft. There's a lot more I'd like to say about this topic, but I wanted to keep this video relatively focused. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see more public events, and if you'd like to hear more about this idea, consider giving the channel a sub or checking me out on Twitch. Thanks!